Good morning, everyone, and good morning on July the 23rd. This is the 12th episode of Meticulous Talks. I am Chris Gourds.
And I'm solving problems. Hello.
Yeah, so here we are in another off week. Going to follow kind of the same general idea we had for last stream, which is we'll start with just kind of talking about the game as we've played it, and any topics that we want to make sure we touch on.
Actually, I haven't really been able to play it this fortnight. Been doing other things.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't really got much to add.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, I've been busy with a lot of stuff outside the game too, which is unfortunate, really, because well, we've got major events upcoming that I really should be thinking about.
Yeah, you have a lot going on in America, right?
Yeah. We've got for those people who really want to travel, we've got 3 conventions in a row. Yeah, BronyCon, then Gen Con, then BronyCan. So, But I do have like a couple of one deck actually that I've been tweaking for that, which has done reasonably well for me, and we could go through it if you wanted.
I don't know. Go with the flow.
Sure.
See what we think about.
Right. Well, sure. So
it's weird. Like, I was so hyped up to the set coming out, and like it's not even been that long, and I've kind of just mellowed out and been like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Well, I mean, on the one hand, this is kind of where we want to be, kind of, right? You know, it's so long as you're playing a game, as long as you're playing the game, of course, and not just ignoring it. But I mean, we can't be on the edge of our seats forever.
I guess it's yeah. I still really, really want to play with Applejack of the Seven Seas. I just don't have any.
Oh, you don't? That's unfortunate.
Hopefully, Galacon, I'll be taking like a trade binder and stuff. I can at least get like 1 or 2 through trades or something.
Yeah.
But I'll just have to see.
Yeah.
Because that card is hilarious, and I really want to play with it. I think I've probably said it about 20 times now.
Pretty much, yeah. I still haven't really tried orange yet, but I definitely have to before I decide what deck I want to play. So, yeah. It was weird actually. There was that gentleman on the subreddit just a couple days ago who was trading a bunch of ultra rares. And I don't know if you saw that post or not.
They're based in America.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Well,
like for me, it's like there's no point because with
shipping and
with how long it takes for stuff to post and stuff, and actually getting it,
Yeah.
Buy one of someone in the UK or in Europe.
I guess. Yeah. Well, for my part, I saw 3 Night Gliders, and I don't actually have any of those yet. So
I have 2. One that I pulled, and another that I won because I came second in the nationals in the UK.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I remember I did pull one a while back, but I believe it was at like an Everfree or something, and I sold it immediately at that convention.
I mean, that's pretty fair. It's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, and nowadays it's like, well, I mean, on the one hand, sure, I want it because that's like what blue is. But on the other hand, I don't really run blue decks, and maybe I can define myself as not having the Night Gliders. Who needs that card, right?
I mean, I won nationals with pink white. I didn't need Night Glider.
Yeah.
I say won nationals. I won the constructed event. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's good enough to say you won
Yeah.
nationals. I'd say. Yeah.
I did the draft. The draft was fun. Mono white, like it was hilarious.
Mhm.
Yeah, like yeah. So what is it that you've been tweaking then? Anyway,
Well,
I don't think we have much to talk about.
Okay, sure. So, well, so the basic idea is controllers have to run white because that's where your win conditions are. And I find you generally like if I was going to run purple orange or purple blue or whatever, I'd have to run white anyway. So why not just cut out the middleman and run purple white? Was the idea at least? So I don't have a name for this yet, which is unfortunate. I know because you got to have a name, but the basic idea and use okay. Well, let's just go through it from the top. So Twilight, obviously. I mean,
Yep. So, oh man, are you running troublemakers? I wonder.
yeah. We talked about Twilight last week. The problem set is pretty straightforward, really. There's nothing. Most of these are holdovers from Marks and Time.
Have you thought about using Hysteric Recreation instead of the Trashing the Changeling Throne?
Yeah. What? Yeah, they're both reasonably low confront requirements, right?
I think Hysteric's. Is it 8/8 or is it 6/6? It's one of those two.
Right.
But at least it's equal on both sides, as far as I remember.
Yes, and it's more immediate +1s.
And it's like you just need to put things there, and you get the +1s, like
Right.
just there.
Yeah. That's an idea. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, maybe I was just thinking in terms of defenders. Like the only thing to be said, I guess, is like it's +1 for the stuff for things that are at that problem. So if your opponent drops like an Ocean Jack or whatever, at least that's the throne. The counters are permanent.
I guess.
Yeah, but
then again, if it's 8 on the other side, you probably just want to use it over it anyway.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Because I'm not sure if it's 8 or not.
Well, let me go look real fast. Purple problems. Oh, is it Marks? Okay. It is 8. Yes, 6 and 8 actually.
There you go. That's why you run it.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, good point there. So yeah, the basic Twilight and Rarity are pretty much the reason why this deck can exist. Because the idea is we run a bunch of, except for Changeling effects, except for Changeling Mimics, 0-point Troublemakers, and then sure my opponent can beat them in Troublemaker phase, but then when the score phase comes around, I just play a portal on Twilight and Rarity, and the Troublemaker comes back. And I can do that as many times as I want because there's 0 points. And so, yeah. The rest is your relatively standard control fare, I guess. Obviously, F-Stop is what you need. I didn't put spoons in the first deck. Realized that was a problem, especially given
she's so good.
Yeah. And there are some pretty good aggro decks out there right now. So yeah.
Do you run much card draw?
Doesn't look like it.
Say Double Diamond is really good against certain strategies as like a one-of. Oh, you're not running Sneak Attack for the grabbing of everything.
No.
I kind of thought you'd be running Sneak Attack.
It's a card that I've considered, yeah.
But yeah, because I'd say running a one-of Double Diamond alongside Sneak Attack, because obviously one Sneak Attack is Gyro.
Mm-hmm.
With obviously the Rarity in Twilight being able to recur it, you could do some real annoying stuff by making it so a guy with 5 bad cards in hand is just kind of stuck.
Yeah, that's
because that's what the pink white control and block did. it's like, oh man, have how many cards in hand? 5. Flip your double diamond, go party of 1, and it's just like, if you don't have the requirement to play right now, you can't even try to draw into it. And yeah, it won games very easily.
Huh. That's certainly an idea. Yeah. I mean,
So double diamond sort of making a lock just because they can't draw out of a situation is actually a lot more powerful than I thought.
No,
so accidentally, as I was just running him as a 0-cost troublemaker, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
That's actually a really good point. Right? I don't see myself being able to. Well, I don't actually. You say to yourself, I don't see being able to put a party of 1 in here. God damn it.
I'm not saying run party of 1. I just mean run double diamond because your deck could do a similar thing by just being like, oh man, I have no good cards for beating these troublemakers. Guess I'll draw. And then they go double diamond. They go, oh gosh, I have no good cards for beating this troublemaker. And that's it. That's the whole sentence.
That just is it. Yeah. I mean, I could put more troublemakers in here. We'll see. Deck space is like, we're on 45, and these cards all seem reasonably good, but yeah, moments to consider. And I mean, that Destiny Drain is pretty much just for my local meta, which is my local meta is the commentaries Magic people that I play against online. So necessary.
Combo deck.
Sorry?
Oh, hey, look, that combo deck. Oh, hey, look, that combo deck. I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
No. Stop.
And actually, the funny thing is, Changing Mimics is pretty good as well for that.
Because you name the card tape they need to use, and then they go, oh, all right.
Yeah. If nothing else.
Yeah. I definitely advise, because I see how you've sort of, the term I use is toolbox, is you've toolboxed your events. What I like about Sneak Attack is that it also allows you to toolbox your troublemakers.
Yeah.
Which is something I definitely advise.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, the toolbox strategy, as you say, I think, I'm trying to. I want to say it was Bugle who really started doing that with his vinyl deck, but I'm sure
I started doing it ages ago in this mono purple deck because I looked at Gyro and went, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so I can just run this as a one-of, and I can just run this as a one-of. I can just run this as a one-of. Obviously, toolboxes are ridiculous when you can also play every card you've got one of infinite times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Because F-Stop is stupid. I'm still surprised he's not on the ban list.
Yeah, well, one makes the argument on whether he's actually done anything wrong yet or not. I mean, it's kind of more of a death by 1,000 cuts thing when it comes to F-Stop.
Honestly, I also kind of think Gyro is a bit too good because just one action token, get a body and get the event, especially when events can be so cheap. And his requirement's only 3, because when you compare him to, say, the Equestrian Odyssey's Pinky, which for 1 costs 2, has 4 requirement, which is so much more awkward than 3, I find. 4 is when you actually have to be dedicated to the color. 3 you can kind of sneak out.
And
that just gets you a friend. That card seems balanced to me. Gyro's pushed a bit too far. At least with Gyro, though, you can't use Interdimensional Portal on him to get the effect again.
Yes.
Because it's good old Premier wording. Which is a mistake I made initially when I first was using Gyro. My mind was in, it's just an Enters Play trigger. But then I reread them and went, it's a weird old trigger.
Yeah. Well, it's... Sorry, finish your thought.
The deck got a lot worse the second I realized that, but it was still stupid.
It's often the case when you misread cards. But yeah, it's kind of just sort of Premier card syndrome, really. Those who are really, really good tend to be really, really, really good, and everything else just kind of sucks.
Also, how often do you shuffle your deck?
Do you mean like while playing or in general?
During a game.
Well, for this one, I guess every time I play a gyro, right?
Yeah. And I guess no, Glenn's only from hand. Just because a synergy that I found really fun that I basically took from legacy players in Magic is, scope things out where you draw 4 and put 3 on top.
Yeah.
If you then just shuffle your deck afterwards, you didn't put 3 cards on top. Those 3 cards you didn't need, they're not stuck as the cards you're going to draw now. And so that was like just a really powerful bit of synergy I had because I would shuffle my deck quite a lot with all sorts of effects other than gyro. Because I also had like the Cancelot Knight's Changeling that shuffles all discards back into decks and stuff. And so it'd be those games where you're just like, okay, I know I'm about to do this effect, so I'm going to draw 4 cards, put 3 things I just don't need, like, entry and stuff, like early game cards, and then just shuffle them away. So I was sort of asking if it was like, could you do something like that if you ran scope things out as a one-off? But unfortunately, so it doesn't seem like you have enough that would just shuffle your deck. So
yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, and then, well, an interesting thing is like I don't see too many people run this card when I look at other decks.
It's so good. It's also usually because a lot of other decks will run epics,
Right.
and she makes your epics harder for you to beat, which is like, oh man.
It's just 1 AT since I'm running Twilight, right?
Yeah, I know, right? It's really not that bad. But I think that's the logic. She's great.
No, yeah, I mean she's
very, very good.
She's purple entry for one thing, which is amazing. She has
because she's very reminiscent of Comet Tail or whatever he's called from Absolute Discord that just gives all troublemakers where he is +1.
Oh yeah.
But this is just like the good version where it's all of yours and it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Which is so good.
Yeah, and of course it
has a synergistic beauty mark effect because it's fine.
Yeah, and it's so impressive how any of these troublemakers just becomes ridiculous, even with just that 1+2, and of course.
And then when you get 2 copies out, it's just like, cool. This is just no.
And never mind that if I have any AT, my opponent is not going to challenge my troublemakers.
Yeah, like when your spike has 11 or 13 power at a base, it's just like, yeah, no, this is not going to go well.
Yeah. So yeah, I found that this is done okay. It's a little bit weak against the aggro deck still. I do still want to make changes for that.
That makes sense.
Study Session, still an amazing card against the quick decks. They want to get in here somehow. But yeah, we'll see. And like I said, I'm still gonna do an orange deck at some point and compare. But yeah. I really like purple white a lot. So we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been tinkering with over the course of the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, if we've got nothing else to talk about, I know a long time ago, Solving suggested to me that we do a ranking of the main characters. And
yeah, that was. Oh, I don't even know when.
Oh, it was like back when we were first getting started, I think.
Yeah.
It's just like something to do for an episode, so why not? We know that over the course of this whole game, we've had a lot of different sort of ways to approach what main characters do. We've had a couple of attempts at sort of. Let me look here. If I look at like where'd you go? Dreamcatcher, for example. classic example of a main sort of a repeating ability that you just use over and over again.
Yeah, like flips to and fro in that case a pretty bad way.
Yeah, unfortunately, both of the ones that did that were pretty underwhelming, and
Yeah.
and then we've had some that just were constant effects, and then we've had some with activated abilities and such, and so sure, we can just kind of do a rundown, I guess.
So start from the beginning. Let's go look at all of Premier's bad mains.
Shh. Are they all bad? Well, yeah.
Okay. I think the main thing that's bad about them half the time is the flip conditions, because I'm pretty sure they were pretty horrible.
Alrighty. So yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, let's just go right down the list here.
So when you confront this card's problem, if you have a troublemaker at that problem, turn it over.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too hard to flip now, so especially with High Magic Glim Glam. Pay 1, turn 1, flip it, move Rainbow herself.
Yeah, yeah.
Not terrible.
I remember this card always seemed like a weird... Well, like, blue didn't really have a defined style back in the day, but it always did seem kind of weird. It's like, blue deck, oh, that deck's going to be full of troublemakers, because that's what blue does.
You have to run at least, like, 8, otherwise you're not having it in your starting hand, and you're not flipping your main.
Yeah.
Nice.
Especially with...
But I'd say, like, this is probably the best boosted side in Premiere, right?
I honestly don't remember.
Pretty good. Like, I'd say it's actually like still a good boosted side. That if it was less awkward to flip, I'd be trying it still.
Let me see.
Because home limit 4, Swift. When you move it to a problem, you can pay 1 to Wildfire.
Yeah, you're moving this card for 1, you're moving the other card for 1, so you're essentially getting a free move.
Yeah. Like, it's not bad. And then it also like has inbuilt synergy with, say, like any sort of movement event. Especially like the blue-yellow one, because it costs you 1 action token to send. Oh wait, no, that one's friends specifically.
Yeah.
Alright, well, you get what I mean. Like, there's a lot of things that you can just sort of be like, cool, and then I'll incidentally then pay 1 action token afterwards and do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, if that flip condition wasn't weird, this would actually be good.
Yeah.
But with the flip condition as it is, I don't know. I still think because the flip side's so nice, I could put it at not tier -5.
Yeah, that's kind of the major
not
thing.
Not garbage tier. Would we say tier 3 is the lowest? That's not garbage tier.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
So put it at tier 3, I'd say.
Yeah. As you say, the major issue just is that the sort of the start side and the boosted side don't really agree with each other in terms of what kind of deck you want to be running.
Oh, dude! Once I have controlled my opponent, I'm gonna go super fast.
Yeah. So, unfortunately,
it's a bit muddled, but oh well.
Applejack. So, I remember, this was one of the easy flip conditions.
All right, this one's actually really easy to flip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Woo. So, when you confront its problem with more power than required, turn it over.
Yeah.
It was really easy back in the day with the 1 and 1 not of, because you pay 2 to move it, and then you play a 2 for 2 in a different in not orange, and then there you go. You're doing it by +1, and you flip your main.
Yeah, virtually guaranteed on turn 2.
Yeah. So when one of your friends with this card at home or a problem is dismissed, you may put it on top of your deck.
Mm-hmm. So that's
it's okay.
Yeah,
but putting on your deck on top of your deck is always a little bit feel bad, because you're like, and now I know I'm drawing that. Mm-hmm. Unless that card's great.
Yeah. Well, the assumption, I guess, is it got dismissed because it was great, right?
Yeah. But the unfortunate thing now is there's so many other ways of getting rid of things that it's too easy to play around this, and it's not like you can even initiate it yourself easily.
Yep.
It's not like, oh man, I will retire the home limit, and oh wait, no, that's retire. And it's stuff like that where it's like you can't just be like, see, I'm gonna make it so I draw this card that's really good. Say a pink friend that when it enters you dismiss or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make sure I draw it every turn. I'm gonna start getting rid of everything you control. It's built in the way that it's built to be balanced so that you can't break it in interesting ways. So it's just kind of bad now.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, really.
So I think this does go to garbage tier because it may as well be vanilla with stubborn. Like, oh man, I have a main that has 3 power and stubborn. Woo.
In essence, yeah, it's
got bad. It's just really bad now.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it gets outshone. Like even if we're considering this like a bodyguard main, kind of like Spike is, well, Spike's just better, right?
Yes, like I run Spike over this because Spike protects resources.
Well, that too,
Spike also has a bit of it's a bit more potential because you can just play with your deck and Spike will flip.
Mm-hmm.
This you actually have to invest into flipping, which is always I actually have to do things to flip. How dare you?
Now that we have mains that you don't have to do anything for.
Pretty much. Oh man, I'm gonna do what my game plan's going to be, and my main will flip anyway. Is what you want your main to be?
Pretty much, yeah.
So with this, it's kind of like it's just a bit awkward because
Yeah.
Orange in Premiere was trying to be just like big friends or whatever, but without action token gain, Orange was just bad back then.
Yeah.
It hit its stride when it gained like the 2 for 3s and the 3 for 4s that were like, here's efficient, good Orange friends, and you were like, yeah.
Yeah, that's where things got good.
But when it was like, dude, Orange has a 4 for 4, it was like, wow. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's just bad. So this is a relic of the age of...
Unfortunate that, yeah. I wonder if I should be writing these down.
So yeah.
Oh well.
I still think I just put it in garbage too.
Yeah, I don't really expect us to see.
No one's ever going to play it. Unlike the Rainbow Witch, is like you could argue that it's actually playable. This, just no chance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pinky.
Pinky.
Oh, no.
I'll talk about hard cards to flip. My goodness.
Oh my! This is like the hardest one in the set. I'm pretty sure.
Well, post rules change, rarity is hard as well. Remember.
So when you confront this card's problem, if none of your opponent's friends are at that problem, turn this card over.
Yeah. So basically,
turn 1, your opponent can play 2 friends that cost 1, and make it so you cannot flip your main.
Yep. Yeah.
Beautiful. Garbage tier already. Let's look at the other side. Home limit 5, not
Random.
bad. Fine. Random, that keyword that you never use, and you don't remember to use, even though you have it. And eccentric 1.
Eccentric 1, yep.
Yeah, so good. Then again, in Premiere, there is a 3, or is it 4 for... I think it's a 4 for 3 with like 3 requirement that has eccentric 1.
Yep.
So eccentric was like amazing back then. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Nobody ran it anymore.
No. Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
This card has always been bad. The only person I've ever known to use it, it was because they liked Pinky, and that was it. They knew it was bad, and they were forcing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The start text like makes you think, well, okay, so first of all, I could run like control, I guess maybe, but like it's hard to get a control setup going when my main isn't flipped yet.
Yeah.
Or I run an aggro deck, I guess, but then of course we're in the same problem with Rainbow Dashes. Our start and our home side don't match then.
Yeah, it's... Then you booster and go, how does this help me in aggro? Oh, hey, it doesn't. I guess it helps me when I flip a low card in a face-off, and it means my opponent's tempos hit an incredibly small amount. But,
yeah.
Like, she's so difficult to flip, and on her flip side, she just doesn't do enough. Another garbage tier card, admittedly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Incredibly hard to flip, and does basically nothing on a boosted side. 10 out of 10.
It does have that home limit 5, which is,
yeah, but so does another main from this set, and it's
right.
better as far as I know.
Pretty sure, yeah. Radio.
I forget how this one even flips.
A face-off involving
When you
card.
win a face-off involving this card. I mean, troublemaker. Oh, involving has to be basically a problem face-off. Good start.
Yeah. And then she has the.
I miss mains being difficult to flip. When you flipping your main was like whoa, I did it. Like that's kind of cool.
Right.
It's like that's kind of cool for gameplay. I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of getting nostalgic. Oh. And then what does she do on the flip side? So she's got Studious. Studious isn't bad, honestly.
I know everyone still wishes that it's stacked.
Why doesn't it stack? Yeah, that's the issue with Studious. Unlike prepared and all these other words we now have for it, it just doesn't stack.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Studious, not terrible. This would be your only card with Studious, well, except for Ursa Vanquisher, I guess. But nobody cares about the fact that has Studious. You're playing because it's a 3 for 4 that also does something stupid.
Most people don't even care that it has 4 power.
Yeah. And then it's after a face-off involving this card, you may put any events you flipped into your hand instead of... That's actually really annoying. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, I flip Cutie Pox Scare and, I don't know, Nap Cakes, and it's like, you're gonna get those. Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Yeah. Especially in the current day with enough Meticulous in the game. You can
just be like, yeah, just manipulate it so you're gonna hit an event and just be like, cool, I just draw it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad, actually. That first one, though, man, I'm going to make a Troublemaker Lockdown, and then I'll never flip my main.
Yeah.
Wait.
You've got to get to a face-off before your main is flipped, which is an issue.
Yeah. So just because, like with Rainbow, I'll say it's tier 3, just because I actually kind of like the flip side.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
That is good
If
value.
it was every face-off and not just one she was involved in, and if it was when you win a face-off, I would have believed that this was printed in, like, Odysseys.
Really? Okay. Well,
if it was when you win a face-off, flip this card. So you could be like, I'm just going to build Troublemaker Lockdown, and my cards at the start of the game will help that initially. And then on the flip side, you're like, every time I flip an event, it's in my hand now. It would be like, yes, this is crazy.
That is actually pretty good.
It's all the specific wording of involved. It's the word involved. Involving makes this card bad. Stop trying to be involved, Twilight. Nobody cares. just be around, and that'll be good enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say tier 3 just because I still kind of like it. What do you think? It's like garbage in terms of people actually playing it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? It's it is like that value on the boosted side is so good. I don't know. It's
if it didn't have to be involved.
Yeah.
I would love for them to release just like a side project that is like redo Premiere mains, and they just like sort of go, here's them powerful, and you'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, just get rid of this word.
That'd be interesting, I think.
And
so like the AJ would have the sort of persistent wording, where it's like, if a friend of yours would leave play, with her.
Yeah.
If a friend here would leave play, you can put it on top of your deck. Dude, instantly loads better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if they do that, they stole our idea.
Yes, we planned it first.
We can sue.
But yeah. Jeez. I mean, I guess I have to say 3 just because it's a hard choice. I really want it to be better.
3-point garbage.
There you go.
We like it a little enough to not just put it in garbage.
Right.
All right. I can't even remember what Rarity does.
Well, she's the main that got broken by the rules change.
This card's problem during one score phase. Turn this card over.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's also become kind of hard to flip. Well, no, it's basically the same as Twilight, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
you basically just have to win a face-off, and then
Yeah.
you score 1 point at the problem, and then you earn its bonus because it's probably 1, like everyone's starting problems.
Yeah. Like times used to be, you confront a problem
confront
first.
bonus, done.
Yeah. But yeah, now it's, as you say, pretty much the same as Twilight. And over on the boosted side, we have another kind
Inspired Joey.
pinky situation here. Although Inspired is actually good for what that's worth.
Manipulating meticulousing your opponent instead is not the worst. And the fact that it actually does stack, right? You pick up 4 cards if you've got 4 Inspired or something. It's weird.
I believe that's how it works.
I think. Like, the way Inspired stacks is a lot nastier than people give it credit for. Because when you look at if you have like 4 Inspired, you just look at the top 5 and go, have garbage for 2 turns, and they're like, even with my 2 Meticulous things, I can get, I might just hit something good, but they could have just seen bad cards.
Yeah.
Like,
it's rather unfortunate that like Inspired hasn't really
been on anything.
Yeah. And all the old cards that had it were
on everything. Yeah, and all the stuff with Inspired was kind of inefficiently costed, which is a shame.
Yeah, because
I think Inspired does have good potential as just a keyword.
Yeah, it's as you say, it's a really great way to interfere with your opponent. Like, even though back in these days, well, Guidance Counselor wasn't kind of that nice, but it was still Inspired was one of those things where your opponent got like 3 or 4 of it up and just like.
You're like, okay, cool, I lose.
Yeah. I am never going to
draw my worst. I'm going to draw my worst cards forever.
Yep.
Oh man, a Blue Jay? Thanks.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it was if your opponent got too much Inspired.
Yeah. So, really, well, as far as this main goes, as we say, kind of the
I'd still say it's garbage. It's awkward to... It's a victim of the new rules.
Mm-hmm.
If you could flip it as easily as you could with the new rules, I would have put it at 3 because Inspired isn't bad. And Inspired Showy isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not a bad thing to just have on your main. But the fact that it's new rules, it is just no to flip. So it's garbage, unfortunately.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there.
Rest in peace, Rarity.
And rounding out Premiere. The other 5 main you were talking about, yes.
Yes.
So a pretty easy home condition, like as again.
Oh man, are you playing yellow? Cool. If you confront it with a yellow friend, pretty much back then.
Back then, yeah, for sure.
Over.
Yeah. Now the only thing, of course, is that that critter friend's going to be yellow. So
is the awkward part.
Yes.
So what you kind of had to do is move Fluttershy, play your other color, then play the critter the turn after. Or you used white and you played the 1-for-1s in white.
My knowledge of Premiere is failing me.
I don't know its name. I just know it's a 1-for-1 with no requirement, and I used to run them a lot. You basically, that was like the main way of getting a flip turn 2 was you play a Winona because that's a 1-for-1 in yellow, or Falcon. There you go. That's the name of a good card. You played Falcon because that card was good, and then you played that 1-for-1 in white, and you flipped her because you basically did what you need to do with AJ and confront it by an extra 1.
Pretty much, yeah.
Other than that, you'd often end up accidentally having to play your Orange Swirl, which is the 2-for-2 in white, or something to that effect, and then playing your Blue Jay, or your Winona, or your Falcon, and then your Flipper. But at that point, you have a lot of power at the other problem, and your opponent wanting to initiate the double face-off wasn't always just like strictly true. If they could, because it was old cards.
Yeah. Yeah, and then over on the boosted side, Caretaker, which is another sort of retired keyword, which was kind of nice back in its day.
Caretaker was okay. Like, I think Caretaker's perfectly fine to now. Also, what I like about this card is it has very good internal synergy. Because obviously it's got Caretaker, and then at the start of a face-off involving this card, you may move a critter friend to this card's problem. So, like, even if you say you're running blue with it, let's say you're running blue with it, and you've used movement events and just sort of bashed your main somewhere without a critter, you start the problem face-off, you can get like +1 power in the face-off just by moving a critter from one problem over to where she is.
Yep.
which is cute. Like it even has relevance when you have nothing at home, if like in certain situations, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and because you have that home limit at 5, there's a much greater chance,
Greater
especially
chance of you just
the
having something at
mid to
home
late game,
anyway.
you have something at home. And in these days, you're running a pretty good chance of proccing Cloud Chaser and Footer off that free critter move as well.
Yes.
And so lots of
It's one of these cards that's like actually not just terrible.
Mhm.
It's okay. I'd still say only put it at 3 because there's just better to stick in tier 2 than this.
yeah, I guess.
But like, it's not bad, and
No.
I could still see people running it today, and I wouldn't be like, "Why are you running this?" I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Well, I'd
Unlike most of the rest of the list.
Mm-hmm. I'd be surprised at first, but probably just like, oh yeah, yellow was actually not bad back in the day. Well, it's not bad now, but
Finally, it isn't garbage tier again. Woohoo! Not garbage tier color.
But yeah, like
yeah. So 3. I'd say.
And in terms of like the mains in the set,
best.
I think this is the best one. Yeah, honestly.
Except for maybe Rainbow, if you can actually get it to happen, because dang,
that's true.
That aggressive.
That's true. Alrighty, so that's Premiere.
All right, time for, I think it's the set with the most mains.
It is the set with the most mains, yes. We have 6.
Because they realized 6 isn't really enough.
6 plus 2.
Main-wise.
We have 2 rarities. We have 3. No, we have how many Lunas are in this stinking set? We have 2 Lunas, 2 Celestias. No, 3 Lunas. Jeez Louise.
Yes. Because you have intro deck Luna, an uncommon Luna, and an ultra rare Luna.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Luna.
But yeah. Oh, I remember this main a lot.
Pegasus Tribal Rainbow. I remember this a lot.
Yeah. So, start off, I mean, once again, yeah, you run a bunch of Pegasi in your deck. Finally.
And at this point, there was a lot of 1-for-1 Pegasi.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Admittedly.
But yeah, this was good at the time. I wouldn't say it's bad now. There's just better options, so I'd stick it at tier 2.
Yeah. The boosted side doesn't quite.
It's got Swift, and the other effect is relevant with Bulk Biceps and Co. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
But they were in the set that she was printed in, so go nuts.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. I think.
But I'd say tier 2 is a solid place for her, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
people can still play her.
Yeah, it's certainly true that there are better blue mains for this kind of thing now, but
yes, but you can definitely put it at 2.
If you don't happen to have an ultra rare main that I'm not going to talk about till we get to it, then I certainly wouldn't begrudge you running this for the same general idea.
Yeah.
And honorable mention for her once upon a time being like the top of the game.
The blue main.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's next? I'm trying to remember.
Let's see. Well, it's orange, right? You know the way the colors go.
Combo Jack.
Combo Jack, yes. One of the few Carolina Knights mains who still sees play a fair amount of the time.
So it's what, tier 1.5, or I don't know. I haven't been tracking how the combo decks that use her are going right now.
I haven't seen. I haven't seen any like really good combo decks use her.
So 1.5 then. It's still good, but
yeah, it's the first main of this list we've done so far where you would reasonably expect it to show up in a tournament. Like
yes, you'd see it and you'd be like, oh no, I'm playing against that deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tier 1.5. I don't think there's much else to say about it. Okay, what would you rate it if you couldn't combo with it? Say if all the cards that you didn't take went into banish.
Ooh.
Would it just be bad? I feel like it'd just be bad, right? But then I don't know. Like, if you just with tokens though, you just eat a token and go, "I'm going to get this good card." Eat a token, I'm going to get this good card.
Yeah, I mean that is pretty much the idea. Well, these days at least.
Yeah. So I'd say it'd still be like tier 3. It wouldn't be garbage. Like you could still reasonably be like, yeah, they're doing something quite annoying there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say let's not say banish. Let's say they shuffle back into your deck, because if they banished it, it'd be bad. It'd be very bad.
You banished it.
So let's say they shuffle back so it doesn't combo. I'd still say it'd be tier 3. You could realistically see someone just being like, "Cool, I'm going to retire this bad thing and then get a good thing. I'm going to retire this bad thing and get a good thing."
Yeah, this was, well, notwithstanding that Gyro was in Premier, this kind of style of deck searching was pretty good for its time, and it's still pretty good. And it was a main that really took advantage of what we were talking about with Orange before. That ability to just bump a friend over 5 to get her over was something that you would normally do, right?
Yeah.
Especially as we saw this set with the 3-for-2s and the 4-for-3s, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me just kind of answer your question here on the shuffle. Yeah, 3, I guess.
Yeah.
But certainly, one of the more resilient mains this one has been, just because of that combo potential.
Yeah. Just because it's a combo card, honestly. That's it.
Yeah.
So, Pinky. Oh, I like this main. This main's really cool.
Yeah. Another one that you do see from time to time. Well, she's actually not bad in Pauper. Is an interesting thing. I've seen quite a few Pauper decks.
She's legit. I'd say she's still legitimately good enough to put it tier 2 myself. Just because, to flip her, you need a lot of friends. But why would you ever need a lot of friends? Because you throw them from behind a troublemaker. You throw them at Thunder Lane and all the other big friends you don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And random, actually relevant, because you're going to be running a lot of random a lot of friends with 1 power that have good effects for the sake of flipping her easily.
Yep.
That's what I like about it. Like, my friend keeps just like, for ages, had a thing reminding him that it had random, so he'd flip a card and go random, and then flip, and it's like he's flipped 1 random, flips a troublemaker, and it's like, oh man, that's actually really nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say this is easily tier 2. Having what's it called now, belly flop every time you confront isn't bad.
Yeah. And of course, like I don't believe that you mentioned this, but like obviously there's a fair amount of token synergy here too.
Yes.
And pink came into that and is a color that can have a pile of Earth ponies sitting around for whatever reasons it wants. And yeah, nothing wrong with throwing tokens at your opponent's friends. Yeah.
Especially when you got the tokens for nothing. That's the best part.
If I was to
like awkward cutes in the area.
Yeah. If I remember, the new card Ravers, those tokens stay in until the end of the score phase, I think.
Yes.
And
you can throw them when you first confront.
And they're going away anyway. So possible deck idea.
My friend was just like, it's a 4-for-3 for 1, and like there's a few reasons why he's thinking of testing it, but he's got quite a solid list now, so he's just leaving it.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I kind of want to agree with you on it. It's another one of those cards that like I'd be initially a little confused to see it in the Harmony tournament, but it's not.
It's one of those cards that I feel like you can be like, oh, hey, that, and then you just lose to it, and you're like, yeah, it does that.
Yeah, that card was a thing, wasn't it? Yeah. Alrighty.
So next, it is
First Luna, yes.
Oh, this one.
Yes. First,
That's broken. Oops.
Kinda, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guess we just need to look at the text.
I remember this.
Oh man, on its boosted side, it turns into a promo. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this card cries at the sight of Zecora, the one from High Magic.
Yeah, that's very true.
And the flip is real nasty. Trying to get it to happen. You have to confront and have the 2 action
and have
tokens.
the 2 AT left over in a world without cover to covers and factory jacks. I mean,
Especially back then,
yeah.
it was you paid 4 because that's basically how much you paid to get it. So you confront your first problem, and then the turn after you flipped her, and it was like,
yeah, and the turn after that was all you did was just flip her over.
Pretty much. You may have stored 1 action token because old rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, but then you just drew cards and went, do I win this face-off? No? Okay, I'll dump these 3 cards. Now I win this face-off. Yeah. And it was like, yep, that's what you do. Yeah. That is what you do.
And actually, because this was one of the first mains that had proper discard on it, right? Like
pretty much.
With defenders having all this discard stuff, I wonder if maybe
this is like the first discard cost type thing they really did. Yeah,
maybe. I'd have to actually look to see if there's any synergy you can get from this kind of a discard vector.
I'd say this card is 3-point garbage. Like its flip side is nice, but flipping it is just too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just too bad. Like with Twilight, like its flip side isn't bad, but like it's just ugh.
And
not really much else to say about it.
There's like you mentioned Sakura, but that's not the only card that completely shuts it down.
Yeah, that's not the only card that's going to stop it, and that's the issue.
Alrighty, we go to number 2. This one actually has good pictures.
When you win a face-off involving this card, so Premier Twilight's flip condition.
Exactly, Premier Twilight, yeah.
It's Lady Justice. I remember
that. During problem face-offs, is that the same?
Specifically problem face-offs?
Yeah, it's,
I never realized it was specifically problem face-offs.
It's more narrow than LJ.
Wow, worse than I thought. Garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just bad. Awkward to flip, and then it helps you do its flip condition again. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like it's trying to be like a purple aggro main, maybe, but yeah, that wasn't. I don't remember that really being a thing back in the day. It's
definitely not back in the day. It's kind of a thing now, I think.
It is kind of a thing now.
It kind of top 16s or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, bad card, garbage tier next.
Yep.
I don't think there's much else to say.
Old event Twilight.
I used this for so long.
Really?
Because it was the easiest purple main to flip when you're not doing the Meticulous deck.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Until Marks in Time, it was the easiest purple main to flip.
Yep.
Because I was playing a movement control based deck, and what do you use to control movement? I play this event, I play this event, I play this event. So this thing flipped in like a turn or two. Because I was just like, cool, back where you began your thing. And boom, it's flipped. I still like this card. I like it enough, probably because I played with it so much, to put it at tier 2. Because I thought the you may move an opposing character effect would never be relevant. But I had games where you would just annoy your opponent with it so much. Like, I'd have an Ursa Vanquisher at a problem, and it's like, haha, I've only got 1 friend there, so you can't do a thing. And it's like, cool, I'll move this, drag that from over there, send them home. And then because I put the Twilight there, I'm still confronting on the other side because she, replaced the Ursa Vanquisher's power. And it was just like, it's really shenanigansy and not relevant all the time, not very relevant often, but when it is, it's like.
You know that Ursa is actually not location-based, right?
Is it not?
Yeah.
I thought it was here.
Give me a quick second to check that.
I'm sure it's old and says here.
I'm like the rule of thumb with Ursa is it's always more overpowered than you think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Move up to 2 of your opponent's characters home.
Oh my god. Well, I've been playing it wrong, but oh well. God, that card's so gross. That is such a box-selling card. Like RTO, Winged Wonder, and Ursa Vanquisher was the cards that sold boxes because they're just so dumb.
Yep.
But yeah, so this card, it's still shenanigans with a few things. Like just dragging away from troublemakers, causing single face-offs.
Mm-hmm.
I've had games where it causes single face-offs on purpose, and it's like, no. And it's like, I win because I set it up. And like, yeah, you just got extra points. I don't like you. And then you obviously send everything they had there home to set up a double face-off the next turn.
Yep.
Like, I love this card because the more I played it, the more I realized how genuinely powerful that movement effect is. Dragging your opponent's stuff where you want them to at problems is really nasty.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think I can say anything else, but yeah,
it's the kind of main that like you look at it at first, and well, aside from that flip condition being really good, you kind of look at that boosted side, as you said, be like, I mean, is that really going to happen?
Also, I always forget that it has Studious.
Well,
oh man, I want a face off. 5 minutes later, oh man, I should have an extra action token.
Yeah. But yeah, with time and with play, you can kind of see that I can make this work. I can build a deck around this, and yeah. So I'm not sure if I'd be willing to put it up to 2, but yeah, I
have a soft spot because I used it for so long. Honestly, I'm a bit biased, but I'm sticking it too.
Yeah. It's like a really high side of 3 for me. Alrighty. Then number 3, the one we've already said wasn't all that great.
Garbage forever.
I believe it was the first card to not have flavor text because it had too much game text.
Text on it. What did you do? At the start of your main phase, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If you do, reveal a card from your hand. If the printed power of a card from your hand is greater, put the card revealed from your deck into your hand and turn it back over. I mean, like, if you didn't have to pay 3 action tokens to flip this monstrosity, it's actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
Say if it was... confront a problem. Okay, no, then maybe it'd be too good. Because that search for an event, that made me almost run it as a purple main. I was like, if I can pay 3 in gyro, I'm not even that mad. But it just was too inefficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if its flip condition was like just confront or something that's kind of awkward, I don't know, win a troublemaker face off.
Yeah.
Then this card would be incredible. Oh my gosh. The fact that you just pay 3 makes it garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
The fact that you pay 3 to flip into a main that has 2 power makes it even worse.
Yeah. Like
unfortunately.
Yeah. It's almost like the kind of main that you expect is going to be a combo main, kind of, because, like, you know, I just kind of sit at home and then
but it's just too inefficient to
assemble my combo pieces in my hand, and there you go. My major memory of this card actually is people getting it out of a box or a pack or whatever, and just like reading it and being like, huh? And read it again. Wait, what? And then like it takes like 4 or 5 times to read it. So, oh, that's what it does. Okay.
And it's not that great. Oh gosh.
So
yeah, it's just not good, unfortunately. Bye, Luna. Oh, they tried. It's interesting, but it's not good enough.
All right. Hat Rarity.
Hat Rarity. A card I want people to run still nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Resource, what is it? Accessory Rarity.
Yep. It's still real fun.
It's still real fun. Especially with stuff like Magic Wings and stuff. It's funny. It was absolutely terrible when it was first printed, though. There was no good accessories when it was first printed. Now I could see people actually running it and it being really fun and shenanigansy.
Which is strange.
But yeah.
And it's strange.
Most of the mains get worse. This one, because it's a card type specific synergy, it's just kind of going to get better as we just get better accessories.
Basically.
In general. But I can never see it being tier 1.5 or even really 2.
Yeah. It's like it's
just a tier 3 fun card.
Mm-hmm. Every set, where white takes an aggressive posture, this main gets a little bit better, basically. Or at least that's the way it's gone so far. Yeah. So,
there's not much else to say on it, really.
pretty much, yeah. Now, I've heard a little bit about this main once upon a time lately. This is one that has actually gotten a lot better.
Yes.
As immediates have become a thing.
Yes. Making it so your opponent it's a lot more difficult for your opponent to just interrupt what you're doing. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's strange how like you look at all the cards which are the immediate events which are really really the ones that you're afraid of. And you're like, okay, if that one cost one more, would it still be good? And oftentimes it's like, yeah, it's not actually that good anymore. Yeah.
Like nap cakes. Oh, why would it ever cost 2?
Yeah.
Ugh. Things like that. So what, is this tier 2? Because you can still actually see people taking it to a tourney or something?
I mean, I've never actually... Well, okay. I took this to a tourney once, so I guess I can't say I've never seen anyone take it to a tourney. But, I mean, I guess it is one of the better white mains, honestly, right now. So yeah, I think I would have to throw it to it too.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that the start condition is not so onerous as it once was, or
multicolor friends make it a lot easier.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I think.
So yeah,
next one, I think.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. Onto my own personal hell. The Celestia mains.
God, it's just so much. Oh, hey, it's got the same issue as the intro deck, Luna.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was the fixed version of her as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say this one's complete garbage. It's still garbage tier.
Yeah.
Like, exhaust 3 of your friends to turn it over. Woo!
Yeah.
I don't confront this turn. Turn my main over. All right, that's good.
Kinda. I mean, maybe you're running yellow orange with a pile of stubborn, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Or to be fair, the way I actually played this card is you don't move it until it's flipped.
Mm-hmm.
You confront all problems, and then your next you double face off, and then on your next turn you exhaust everything at home, and play friends for this turn.
Oh.
It was still bad then.
Yeah, still.
Like, you exhaust it, and then you return a card that you retired to home limit to your hand.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh man, I sure hope that this card I'm retiring because it is bad, and that is still at home at the end of this turn because it is bad, is gonna go to my hand. Yeah, just bad next, I think is the honest answer.
The only thing that I've seen it used for, like, I remember once upon a time people using this kind of effect, and the yellow showdown effect as well. I believe it was staring contest. For the principle that like yellow would often have cheap critters, which are more efficient to play than they are to move because they cost 1. And so there's that very very small amount of synergy with like, okay, I'm just gonna put this back into my hand and then play it out again instead of moving it.
But then there was a much better critter main in the same set.
That is the case, yes.
There was basically the yellow main for like all of block 1.
Yeah, and the only other thing that you can even consider with this card is, and sorry if I'm defending her too much, but is like if you have some really good enters play trigger that you want to make sure, oh, I can just that card back up to hand and then throw it down again next turn. I'm not sure if there are any cards that are worth that, but something worth considering. Anyway, enough about that. Yeah, notwithstanding everything I said, I agree with you that the cards are trash.
Yeah, so bad.
Speaking of,
hey, yeah, it's good. It's a shame. I am glad there's a main that surpassed it as Yellow's aggro go-to recently, but I still wouldn't say this is bad. Because it flips for 0. Let's get that straight. You play 3 critters, and you just flip it. If you ever need to pay 1 action token to flip it, something is off.
Pretty much.
And on its flip side, it has Swift, 2 critter, and Caretaker. So your main has 4 power, and is 1 action token to move in most cases. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That still sounds good nowadays.
Yeah, basically.
So I think it's tier 2. It's a very, like, the only downside to it that I'd say in comparison to, say, Thorax and the new Fluttershy, you have to be critter. Like, you have to be the critter deck.
Yeah.
You can't build this and just be yellow-pink good friends aggro. You have to be the critter deck when you go into this card.
Yeah. Actually, this is a main that, I mean, you still see it in tournaments. You know, usually from people running kind of budget decks. But that doesn't make it any worse, right? It's still darn good.
So it definitely earns its spot on tier 2.
I think so, yes. We were talking about my personal health. The card I'd
say this one's actually worse than Luna. That's the thing.
Yeah.
This doesn't even get to search, really, does it? Like, when are you ready a resource? Oh, so good. And then you retire a resource and give its power to one of your yellow friends for the end. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Yeah. I've wanted this card to be good for so long.
One thing.
Go ahead.
At least the elements of Harmony were printed in this set, and they had 7 power.
It's true. I actually tried that once. I actually tried running this with the element of kindness once upon a time. It's I mean, it's okay. It why is it why is it restricted to only your yellow friends? Number one, like, can that just be any friend, please?
I feel like this, if they printed a version of it nowadays, it would be basically the same, but it would put power counters on.
Oh,
and then it would feel like all this work finally pays off.
That would be good.
It would still be more efficient to just play Thorax.
Yeah.
Like, that would still be more efficient than doing this. But when you get this to happen, it'd be satisfying as heck.
I know that.
Like, boom! This has 10 power forever now. Yeah, it's just bad as it is, though. Next is the honest answer. Garbage, garbage, so much garbage. Why is this ultra rare? Cries in a corner for an hour.
Yep. Okay. Oh.
All right.
Yes.
Rest of the games.
No.
Oh, Rock and Rave, sorry.
Yeah, we're going just down the list.
All right, so DJ, tier 1. We don't even need to open the tab. Let's talk about Maud.
DJ, the greatest pick main ever, so long as cards shall be drawn. Yeah,
Maud.
Right. I mean,
I'd still say it's 1.5 because a main that has 7 power. Like, okay, it's not bad.
Always an honorable mention for creating an archetype.
Yeah, like villain farming. People usually run usually run AJ now, but they started it and it's still not bad for it.
Yep.
Like, you could still build similar decks where, because you flip Nightmare Moon, you dump your hand and you have all the card types, and there you go. She's got 7 power. The thing that people don't like about her is like, what? I actually have to like play cards that aren't troublemakers.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, all right, okay, you be like that. But yeah, like, what I like about this though as well, it's also just an orange aggro card because it's a 7 power friend. There you go.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely tier 1.5. Everyone who's played the game since these decks came out is familiar with them.
Yep.
A little too familiar with them because they're either losing to them or playing them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was what the Rock and Rave meta was like, right? For
until Equestrian Odysseys came out, that's basically what the
all DJ and mod for the longest time. It was Yeah.
Oh my god. That's why I'm actually excited to play Block 1 Constructed, because Rock and Rave isn't part of the block.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's like, you mean the two defining decks don't have their mains? What? I'm going to experiment and see what's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even need to click on DJ. Let's move on to Crystal Games.
Well, I actually just want to mention I'm not going to click on her, but I did have the chance to try. I don't know if you saw the commentator's Magic stream talking about their Hot Wings deck. I did get the chance to practice it this past little while, and it's such a strange feeling to be running a DJ aggro deck, just because I'm running an aggro deck and I'm confronting every turn, but I'm still throwing cards away to hand limit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. She just draws so many cards. It's so dumb.
Yeah. So next
up.
Oh,
wait, no, Celestial Solstice is first.
It is, yes.
Twilight is bad.
Oh.
Very easy to flip. And she's vanilla on a second side, but has two colors. Unfortunately for her, Trading Traditions was printed, so she's terrible and garbage tier. That's all I have to say, really.
In essence, yeah. For her time, she was okay. I saw people do some really crazy stuff once, but
she was good for Crystal,
yeah.
because you ran a deck that was two colors, and then you ran her as a main that was not one of those two colors, and then she flipped to be one of the not of those two colors, and then you had a deck that ran 4 of the Prismatic main 6, and it actually kind of did things until removal got good.
Yeah.
Because I ran that deck because I really like Prismatic.
Oh yeah.
So the deck was orange, something else. I can't remember what the other color was now. Pink maybe. No, yellow. It was yellow because yellow got like a 3/3 and stuff randomly, I think.
Yeah.
And then you flipped her to be blue, and because that rainbow just moved everything. And your biggest enabler was Crystal AJ, and if you played 2 copies of her, you confronted everything.
Yep.
All the time. And that was it. But other than that, now she's garbage.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. I think that Crystal and Prismatic was probably like the most interesting mechanic.
I think Prismatic is the most interesting thing they've ever printed, and it was on 6 cards.
Yeah.
Can we get a bunch of 2-for-2s with Prismatic, and that's it? They don't do anything when they're Prismatic, and they're all just a cycle of 6. They're all the colors, 1 of each color. Just 2-for-2s with Prismatic, and that's it. And then you could actually build the Crystal deck, because your requirement wouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Now,
but they would never do that because, dude, nobody cares about Prismatic. They just care about tier 1.
Yeah.
All these tier 1 cards sell boxes. And I'd be like, I would be the guy that even if they were rare, I would be buying boosters to get 1 of each. Our second tribal thing. Yeah, this one literally just says all your Alicorns get +1.
Yep.
I still like this card.
I still try to build decks with this card.
I look at it at the release of every new set. I'm like, is this good for the Celestia? Not really. Okay, that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what card was insane for it? Rainbow Powered Twilight. That thing turns into a 1/3.
Yeah. Yeah, this main only really got good with, or at least only got kind of good with Rainbow Power Twilight was in High Magic, right? So
yeah. High Magic made you want to give it a try because as they started printing Princess Twilight Sparkle, so that just efficient Twilight friends were Alicorns. This card just kind of got better and better because when it was first printed, it was garbage.
Right. It basically took all of your overcosted Alicorn friends and made them fair, which was
great. But then they finally started printing just competent Alicorns, and then this card just became a really good buff just for every card you play, which is nice. So yeah, tier 3. I also love just like having 1 in hand and waving it back and forth because they it's so like that was like what thing you had like Pogs and stuff back when I was a kid that always had these things, and I'm just like, I feel so nostalgic.
Yeah, the only other sort of thing that I say, and I considered this card, I considered this card for this reason a while back, is that Deep Darkness is an Alicorn, and so for those combo decks and DJ decks out there, this deck has a reason to throw down Deep Darkness turn one.
Yes, because it's an Alicorn and that's it. Like
Yeah.
Alicorns. Yeah, yeah.
But still,
I'm sure I did making it. I think I did a deck tech for this on the channel, and I actually went through and was like, wow, this is actually good.
Yeah, it's not bad. But tier 3.
Yeah. Like you're not tier 2 means you might see it at a tourney. Tier 3 is you'll see it at your local meta maybe because some guy built it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alrighty. So you've been wanting to get to Crystal Games for a while now.
It's because I keep forgetting how long it took for Crystal Games to come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
So we have
fastball special.
Yes.
It's I can't even remember it.
Well, it's the only main that's 2 different tribes on its 2 different sides, and 2 different characters on its 2 different sides. So far.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. You sort of store up Swifts.
Basically, yeah. For your one big turn, you just go.
Yeah.
Which of course,
like my issue with it is, you're flipping it at the start of a problem face-off.
Mm-hmm.
Like to make it so that you're not the one causing the problem face-off, thus you're probably at an advantage anyway. It's kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I feel like if your opponent double confronts and you've stored, I don't know, 3 counters on this. Don't know how you've managed to keep in the game when you haven't flipped your main 3 problem face-offs in, but let's say, and then you've got like the immediate movement thing. What is it from Marks in Time that moves something to each problem? Ever Vigilant. That's
the
it.
one. Yeah.
Like if you ever Vigilant at the start of a double face-off, like you're never going to really have been able to wind enough for this to win that face-off for you, I don't feel like. So I just think it's bad. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a cool design, but it's just garbage.
Yeah, it kind of suffers from sort of the issue that Crystal Games had with its mains, where like the value is there eventually, but to not lose before you get that off is hard.
Is hard. I'd say the thing I can say about it is at least you can pay 1 action token, flip it, and just pull something from home if you have anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, at least it's easier to flip than most other things that came out.
Yeah, well, it's still only going to flip once the problem face-off starts, which, your opponent...
as we said with a bunch of other of these things...
Your opponent throws down 2 troublemakers, and, well.
Yeah. All right, what is...
It'll be Spike. It'll be Spike next.
Oh, wait, yeah, orange is first, not pink.
Yep.
I love him. He's so cool. I'd still only put him at tier 3, and I think the deck I've built with him is only like a tier 2 deck because orange is just a good color. Mm-hmm. It's not specifically because of him. But I just really, like, when, that thing wasn't banned, he was tier 1.
Well, of course. He was like tier 0.
Draw infinite cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much else to say about him. I like the way he protects your stuff. I think this is a good way to design a flip to and fro main.
Oh, certainly.
And, when Chrissy copies him, she's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, definitely.
Because the ruling on Chrissy copying the wording on mains is even if you flip her back to the start side, she still has the text of the boosted main.
Mm-hmm.
So she flips to and fro forever to protect anything that you want to protect.
Yeah. Yeah. This
And she still has, when you turn this side over, choose a color. She gains that color. So you can make your Chrissy 6 color.
No, that got errated.
Did it? Is it first time?
Or wait. Something on that card got errated. I'm pretty sure it's only first time.
That's a shame. Because I remember speculating this with a friend, and we were just like, "This is so pointless but funny."
Yeah. So I suppose in that sense, you could say like, if this main ever got good, people would start running Chrissy probably. It kind of has
Or
that.
if a main with a similar design got good.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I
Ever
totally.
copy Luna with Chrissy?
Sorry.
The really bad ultra rare Luna from from Canterlot Knights with Chrissy.
Oh my
That is
goodness.
actually really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going to tutor for an event. How
and
would it even
again.
work when you turn her back over? Would you do it again when you turn her back over? And as long as you have a card with 7 power in your hand, you can be drawing an extra card every turn and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really weird. I would want to ask a judge how that works, but I don't care enough. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Because that's never going to happen. I can't ever see that happen. All right, the Tiamat Crusaders. The only reason anyone ever ran it was because of Ponyville Banner.
Yep.
I will confront a problem with 7 bonus. Not 7, 5 bonus.
Yeah.
And now you don't even get the bonus points when you first confront it, so garbage.
Once upon a time, once upon a time, I actually ran this main. It was good back in the day. It was good, or at least it was okay. But yeah, another victim of the rules change, unfortunately.
Garbage, bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
That's good, Spike.
Oh my gosh, bash, 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 garbage. I've never seen anyone want to run this.
Yep.
It's when a troublemaker's uncovered, put a hero counter on him. When he has 5, turn him over, and all you don't get any keyword, you just get exhaust this card to turn a troublemaker face down.
Yep. It's like
you have to expect the most troublemaker control heavy format ever, and I guess with the new set maybe, but it's still garbage.
I know. It suffers from kind of, well, yeah, like it's clearly an aggro main, I guess, but
no, because it's kind of like a control main where your plan is to cause double face-offs, and you go, cool, I'll turn this over, and then it's still a problem next time.
I guess, yeah.
Is how I always viewed it, and it's also mirror match card. Oh, are you playing Troublemaker Control? Well, I'm playing Spike Troublemaker Control, and I can always confront thanks to Spike. And it's like, all right.
I guess so.
Oh wait, no, it's an opponent's Troublemaker, so it's literally only for the mirror match.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, oh, so bad. So conditional. But if the meta becomes, like, absolutely stagnated with Troublemaker Control, someone might think of running him as a sort of kick it to the man style feeling.
I would congratulate that person.
I would, if they did well, I would be like high-fiving them for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, garbage.
But
just garbage.
It requires a far too specific meta to be good.
Yeah.
Into that sort of section of names.
All right, so once your opponent has played a load of friends to problems that she's at, it gets harder to play friends to her problem. Yeah, no, it's bad. It's garbage. It's just so bad.
Yep.
You either don't flip it, or once it's flipped, they just move it there, and you go, woo!
Pretty much, yep. The only good thing that can be said, I think, about this main is that it is kind of notoriously bad. People will remember it just because of how bad it was.
Yes. I like it. That is the thing I do like with cards, when it's so bad that you can never forget it. All right, what's next?
Last one.
Oh, yes, the yellow main in this one.
Mm-hmm. I tried for so long to make this card work. For so long.
I mean, it kind of got better with the rules change.
A little bit,
and then you still couldn't really make it work. And then cards got immediate, and this card got worse. Yeah, it's garbage, unfortunately. If you could flip it, its flip side is awesome. It reads so well. It looks like it's going to be amazing. But by the time you get it, it's it's not enough.
Yeah.
Unless someone wants to build like a ridiculously controlling yellow deck for me. Like, that's something I kind of been tempted to try and build, but
Yeah, I mean, like, when I actually tried that main, I went back and forth on, like, is it actually a control main or is it not a control main? Because, like, you have to confront the problems to get the counters, right? So,
So you sit behind a troublemaker and keep confronting and hope your opponent can't do anything.
I guess.
Is how I interpret that.
Yeah.
Alright, so Absolute Discord, because there's been no random promotional mains that's
No.
not part of a specific thing.
No, on to AD.
Oh, Nightmare Moon. I still see people wanting to run her.
Yeah, she was a card that I don't want to say like Mon created an archetype, but certainly she was the first main that kind of made people think about blue
frighteny, control-y things.
Yeah.
I'd say 3. I still saw people running it at like small tourneys, like just like at my shop, so to speak. I still saw people running it every now and again. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fine. It's the easiest frighten control enabler ever, and all you need to do is confront a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fine. It's a card that I wouldn't be surprised to see back at some point later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Also, quick thought: do we have anything to speak about in a fortnight? So next episode.
Well, you'll be back from Galacon.
So I'll have small things to say about that. Why don't we leave Block 2's mains until next episode? Sort of split it up.
Oh, okay, that's an idea. Plus,
that's just an idea.
Yep, and we've been at it for 90 minutes now, so
yeah.
We don't want
off episode. It's going on.
Turn this into another OCR review.
Yeah. So I'd say that's tier 3. I still see it. I wouldn't say it's quite tier 2 where you're like, oh man, a big tourney and someone's running it, and I might actually lose to it because they've built an annoying deck with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Frighten Control, I don't think is just good enough with this.
Not quite, no.
If it cost 1, I'd be like, yes. But it costs 2.
This is right. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Smooth, or do you want to talk about Smooth?
It's tier infinity because it doesn't really exist.
Yeah, of course.
Let's leave it at that.
Sure, I think so. Yeah, I had so many people say, "Oh, when I was doing my build a deck with every main thing. Oh, are you going to do that main? No."
Right, cool. Get me a physical copy. Give it to me, and I will.
Yeah.
I still think this Luna's probably tier 2.
I've seen it work. Yeah.
Axing half your opponent's hand is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ow. And the fact it's banish, right?
It's banish. Yes.
Yeah, banish 1 pile. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You can't even f-stop the events I just got rid of. Like things like that.
Yeah. And it's especially the case that, like, most people probably haven't played against this main, and so they're
you read it. You pick it up, you read it, you think about it, you pick it up, you read it again, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then you play Bailout and you cry.
But yeah.
No, I will discard this to Bailout. Pay 1. No. Also, like, Equestrian Odysseys, it was funny. When it first got printed, I was like, it's alright. Then Equestrian Odysseys dropped with Bailout, Apple Bloom, and it was just like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
This is so easy to flip now.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is one of those cards that, like, yeah, as you say, like, every time you read it again, you, as the opponent, you're like, oh wait, that's
because then you look at your hand and I'm like, I have no optimal piles. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like they will just take that card I want, but if I do a pile of just that card, I go to 1 card.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, yeah, it's really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'd say it's still tier 2 at least.
I think so.
Because people, like, when you see it, you're like, oh no. Because you know you're not going to enjoy this. Because as soon as they do it, you're like, this is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here I am. Especially when you happen to get, like, the goodish opening hand where it's got, like, all your win conditions in it, but no entry. And you're like...
and then they just get rid of it. And then you're like, oh.
Yeah. But yeah, certainly... I mean, that like you say, I expect.
I think you could push 1.5 for this, but I don't know. I haven't seen it enough to confidently say 1.5.
Yeah. Winning the rules. Yeah. So.
Yes, the Discord. That's the other way around.
So on the subject of mains that suck, or at least get really crazy when you're playing them against Chrysalis, I had Yeah, this happened to me in one of the Silver Span turns where my opponent was playing this main and I was playing Chrysalis, and keeping
Oh
track of
no!
whose main was supposed to be on which side when was just
Oh my
stupid.
god! Oh no! Oh god, that's just awful. I love it. That just yeah.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's garbage.
yeah, unfortunately.
Like, isn't it? Like,
Um,
because its thing is that on its start side it has 3 power. Like,
yeah.
that's it. It doesn't have any keywords. It has downside of it flipping to 1 power.
Well, I mean, if you
Oh no!
can,
At the start of your turn, you may look at the top card of any problem deck.
yeah,
That's not the worst.
not the worst. It's one of those things that Pink has like had for a long time, and
Yeah.
aside from that one combo deck that needed it, it hasn't really been used ever.
Yeah, like you, and the fact that you only get to look.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I know. I now know that they're going to get their breast problem next. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
If you could put it on the bottom, like, oh my gosh, I'd actually be like, this is tier 3 just because it has these niche cases.
Mm-hmm.
Only having information and not really being able to do anything about it isn't that great. Just on the card. So it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Alright, other Discord. Another one that
Also kind of just bad, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of
it's a neat design for the flip though.
Mm-hmm.
When one of your friends enters play, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If those cards have the same printed power, you may return this over.
Yeah.
That is like, I love that. That's a really cool flip condition, and that's all I like about the card.
Yeah. Our boosted side can be looked as like can be looked at as kind of like a prototype Defender's Twilight, kind of.
Sort of.
But
like, yeah, it's pay 2 to give a thing plus or minus 3.
Yeah.
It's character here. It's not even like you can put him anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically sweep, sweep, sweep without the upside of being able to discard, which is something you'll always want to do with sweep, sweep, sweep.
Yeah, see it that way.
So yeah, it's once again bad, but a cool design.
Yeah, certainly one of the most interesting ones we've had so far. Which, I mean, Absolute Discord was a lot of cool design, to be honest.
Yeah, Absolute Discord was filled with interesting stuff.
Alrighty, 2 to go.
Chrissy, the one that I keep seeing people trying to run now, and I'm like, I get it. It's a good card, but we do have better options now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is when you don't need to pick up and read again. This is when you pick up and go, oh no, okay.
Yeah.
You just play into it. You're like, okay, what are they taking?
Pretty much.
You just sort of wait. You just wait for it. It's like, there you go. They took that.
Yeah. It's so this is a card that has the same. It has essentially the same flip condition as Luna and Celestia from before, of course, except that this time you're paying 3 usually for something that's worth it. Because
what? Pony Charm costs 3. Method Mares costs 4 in total.
Yeah.
That new super rare friend costs 4. Like Perma Gain Control costs about 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So paying 3 to turn this into a 3 power friend and just get a thing, it's fine.
It is pretty good.
I'd say tier 2 because I still, as I said, I still see people wanting to build with it because it's not terrible for control when you just go, that's mine now, and they go, oh.
Totally, yeah. If that was an immediate, that would be interesting.
Just because it'd be so shenanigansy. It'd be like, I go to confront. That's mine now, and I flip my main. Yeah, okay.
I suppose, yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
But still.
I mean, the fact it's only a one-off is like, whatever. I know there's way of flipping it back, but it's a one-off, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Don't chastise me.
Yeah. And on the subject of other Chrissy, Odyssey's Chrissy, always those cards that have nothing on the boosted side.
Luna are hilarious against it because it's like, oh man, I flipped my main. I guess you have a 2-color main and I have a 1-color main, and that's it. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything.
Right. And last off,
Fluttershy.
Fluttershy.
The one that makes troublemakers does not do anything?
Yes.
And her condition is confront. Okay.
Actually,
I mean, wasn't this used for epics for a while? Because you'd flip a villain and be like, ah, my stuff doesn't get frightened. And then you'd beat it because you're spammy.
yeah.
And, like, that's all I can really remember of it.
Sorry, give me 1 second to look something up. I'm wondering how this interacts with Trixie.
Trixie says friends.
Friends only? Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
all right. Fair enough.
But I was really annoyed because I was like, oh man, Trixie could be a really good, like with Starlight, it could be a really good main against epics. Oh wait, no, that word is friends.
Yeah. Oh well.
I was like, oh well, it's bad. It's just another epics card. Oh well.
Yeah. Which, I mean, interesting for Yellow to have that, but
yeah, I like this card. It's kind of fun, and I remember thinking, man, I can just stop their yellow Parasprite from being as annoying.
True.
When I first saw it, I was like, I can get some vengeance on yellow Parasprites. I then came to the conclusion it is nowhere near as aggressive as the Fluttershy main from Cancel Out Nights.
Yeah.
So I'll put this at 3.
Yeah, this is a card that, like, honestly, if Ponyhead didn't exist, I might not know that this card existed. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get
fair.
the fixed cards.
I still think it's got a niche enough sort of thing to stick it at tier 3 rather than complete garbage like Pinky.
Yeah. Well, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, it's
because it's no that Pinky. Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I have to agree with you there, but I'll put it on like it's low end at tier 3 for sure for me.
Oh yeah, it's low end of 3. I'm not saying it's really good or anything, but it's definitely not garbage. You could see someone playing it, and the deck could be nice.
I guess, yeah. Alrighty.
So that is all of Block 1s.
That is all of Block 1, yes. And yeah, next. See, I've always thought it strange that American English and Canadian English doesn't have an equivalent. Well, I guess it has fortnight, but that sounds like such a British word.
What is the American word for fortnight? You just say 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, you say 2 weeks, which is so strange.
I don't know. Like, I don't think the word fortnight needs to exist, but I like it. It sounds cool.
It does sound cool. So yeah, next fortnight we'll
In a fortnight.
In a fortnight.
In a fortnight, because it's in 2 weeks.
Yes.
In a fortnight.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, in 2 weeks.
You haven't grown up with Fortnite, don't even
No. Yeah, maybe I should just stop.
I guess.
Yeah, we'll be dealing with Block 2.
With stuff that can actually be called Tier 1.
Except for DJ, basically.
Yeah.
The only Tier 1 main we even got in all of
and we can actually talk about other than just saying it's Tier 1, moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't need to talk about DJ.
Yeah. And of course we'll well, as I said, Solving will be back from Galacon and hopefully have some stories to tell.
Magical thing to say.
Yep. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of our content for this week. So
that wraps it up, I think.
Mm-hmm. As always, our Twitch VOD is going to be up after the show, and we're going to be uploading that to YouTube as well. But yeah, unless you have anything else to say, Solving.
Goodbye.
Yep. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
See y'all in a fortnight.